Pandit Krishna Kripa Dasa, welcome to the Thinking Bhakti podcast. It's my pleasure that you're here with us today.
Jai Sriman Narayana, Jai Gurudev. Thank you very much, Swami Revatikanta ji, for inviting me to use a beautiful podcast. I am a follower and I feel honored to be one of your guests.
We're mutual honor then, mutual honor. Well, Panditji, you have quite a history. I'm aware of parts of it, but I think I'd be very curious to know more of it, the audience for sure. So you have, first of all, let me just make this point that you are the president of the Hindu Federation in Spain,
Yes.
and vice president in Europe.
Yes.
And so you have a lot of experience with Hinduism in the West, in Spain, in Europe. And we're going to unpack a lot of that later and some of the work that goes on with that. But before that, yourself, your history. Okay. How did you get here and what is it that you do these days?
It's a quite interesting story. I am the son of interreligious and intercultural marriage. My father being an Indian Hindu who came to Spain in the late 50s, and my mother a Spanish Catholic. So they met, fall in love, and they got married. And it was a big scandal in those days in Spain, not like a Catholic getting married with a Hindu. And we are four brothers. I am the second one. So our parents taught us both religions, both traditions. So now, and sometimes I feel like kind of rejected from one side or the other. But then with my maturity, I realized that I feel very fortunate to grow up because I can understand both ways of life. Of course, when you are a kid, we used to got presents for Christmas and got presents for Diwali, and we went to the temple and to the church. And it was nice. Then at the age of 14, I started studying more Hinduism, and this is what I was looking for, especially the Vaishnava vision, the Vaishnava darshana of Sanatana Dharma. So at the age of 15, I entered officially in the Vaishnava tradition, the Gauriya Vaishnava tradition. And then with 17, I traveled my first time to India in 1988. It was quite different in India from now. It was more innocent. And I was there for 2 months. Then I traveled in the last 30 years, like 30 times to India. I spent altogether about 6 years in India, living in different ashrams in South, in West Bengal also, in the North, trying to learn from the different traditions. But mainly always my focus, my Ishta Devata, always being Krishna and Sri Narasimhadev. Then I'm a grihasta, I'm a married person. I have a son who is 19 years old now. He's going to university. I always have very clear in my mind that I wanted to have a family, and if I want to give a change to the society, I have to be within the society. Even some gurus approach me, say, you become sannyasi, you can do more things. But I was totally unsure of myself. So I said I prefer to be in the safe boat, and I give this service to those who are more renounced, and I'm very respectful to those who choose the path of renunciation and celibacy and everything. But one of my main services being a purohita, a Hindu priest. So all the scriptures advise that you should be married. Because when you do the wedding ceremonies for the people, or some couple is in trouble, you can advise them because you already have the experience. It's not like, for example, in all religions, all the priests are married except Catholicism. The rabbi are married, the imam are married, the shepherd, the pastor are married. So even I have friends who are priests, Catholic priests, and they say sometimes they come to me asking questions that I don't have the experience because I was never married. No? So this is one of the things. Then it was a big change in my life in 2012 because I always, even I was in one path, the Gauriya tradition, in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I always was very fond of Ramanuja and his teaching. And I start, when you are growing up, the philosophy and everything, I feel more closer to the Vishishta Dvaita vision, not that Dvaita, that we are God, okay, and also not with the Dvaita, that we are always eternally separate. So my the teaching of Ramanuja gave me a lot of solace to me, because I saw in his teachings that we are equal to God in quality, but we are different in quantity, no? And he created us, and we are inseparable. So I have my philosophical doubts, and finally, I took the Samashrayanam, means the Diksha, Sri Vaishnava Diksha, Pancha Samskara. So I received the name, and everybody know me by Krishna Kripa Dasa, but I also received a name from my Sri Vaishnava Guru, is Krishnamachari Ramanuja Dasam. But since everybody know me for so many years, I don't want again to to tell them that I have another name. And even everybody knows me in Spain by Juan Carlos Ramchandani, who is my legal name that everybody knows. And then since that, I'm really happy in this path of Sri Vishishta Dvaita and Sri Vaishnavism. I'm not quite orthodox in the sense, and I approached some teachers who are very open-minded, and even I am half Indian. I looks like a European or Caucasian, so they accepted me, and this is the story. And so my main service is as a priest, as a purohita, officiating the marriage in Spain. Now Spain become like a wedding venue, so many people are coming to get married in Spain. We have the beautiful sunshine landscape. You can rent a castle for very cheap price. So a lot of Hindu couples are coming from the UK, from the USA, from Canada, from Australia. Of course, some people also from Spain. I do their marriage ceremony. Sometimes I do the marriage in, of course, Sanskrit and English and Spanish, and sometimes in Italian also. I speak a little Italian, so but they're happy. This is one of the service, good service that we are doing to the people. Then I'm involved with the Hindu Federation of Spain. I was one of the founding members. I am the president for the last 10 years. I don't know, nobody wants to take the charge. They want me to be in the front so I can give the blame also when something is wrong. Spain, like many countries in Europe, still don't officially recognize Sanatana Dharma, Hinduism. Quite is a bit odd in the sense that Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma, is the oldest living religion in the world. We have like 1 billion followers all over the world. And in Spain, particularly, we are 75,000 people, counting Indian origin and non-Indians or non-Asian. But still, we don't have the recognition. And other smaller groups. And we have a documented presence of Hindus in Spain since late 19th century. Okay, so we are there for more than 150 years. But still, we are fighting in the sense, approach the government, they put the levels, they rise the level to receive we call in Spanish, notorio arraigo, means that the religion is deeply rooted in the society. It's nothing that comes from immigrants or whatever. So this is one of our main service, and is sometimes difficult to put together all the different branches of Hinduism. It took us 3 years. 3 years of doing meetings with different sampradayas, and finally we created the federation because the government says, see, we need one spokesperson. We're not going to talk with 20 persons or 50 persons. One person who represents the Sanatana Dharma. So we founded the federation in 2015. This year we completed 10 years. We are going to have an event in Madrid to celebrate that. And we also invited our brothers and sisters of Bhakti Marga to be part of that. So this is one thing. And then the Hindu Federation of Spain also is a member of the Hindu Forum of Europe. Hindu Forum of Europe was created like 20 years ago to also have a single voice of unity in diversity in the European Parliament. There is almost 3 million people who follow Sanatana Dharma in Europe. Of course, 1 million is in the UK. So after the Brexit, we were thinking, what's going to know? But we decided that we come as a continental Europe in the sense, otherwise we will lose 1 million people, no? If we say, okay, only European Union. And we're trying also to bring people from countries who are not part of the European Union. So we celebrate over there a very interesting event every year for the last 12 years. Is the Diwali, Festival of Lights, because for many gurus and for my humble self, we consider that Diwali is celebrated by all the sampradayas. Some will say that she's returning of Lord Ram. Some will say when Krishna kills Narakasura, you have all different stories and approach. But this is the festival, the Utsava, that unite all the Sanatan Dharma. So they told us, choose one festival we'll celebrate in the European Parliament. So we are celebrating that, and we call the dignitaries and the president of the European Parliament came, and they give the speech and everything. And it's nice, we try to bring people from different members. Now we have 16 different federations from different countries. And this is what we try to work also sometimes at the European level. It's funny, because when we explain to the European Parliament, see, we are not recognized in Spain. So they say, okay, we don't interfere in local laws, no? But we at least give a voice to those Hindus who are persecuted in Pakistan and Bangladesh. So we give the chance, and the European Union, they protested that is against the human rights. And so things like that. But it's a difficult job because there is a saying, no? Wherever there is 5 Hindus, there are 6 ideas, no? So trying to put all together is quite difficult. It's a difficult task. You have to have a lot of titiksha karunika, be very humble and tolerant. And yes, it's the only way to work.
I think what you just said now about this difficulty between the Hindus, I think is the best starting position, because I would love to know, of course, what you're doing and your experiences with interreligious dialogue, but I cannot ignore the very obvious point you just made about the intra-religious difficulties that we sometimes have.
Yes.
3 years to make the federation in Spain.
Yeah, and still we have disagreements. And even... it was kind of, the thing is in Spain, there is, unfortunately, an independent movement that want to separate from Spain.
Yes.
So even people who left everything and then become Hindus and even become Swamis and Sannyasis, still they were thinking about the independence and all these things. So keep the politics away, we are registered as a religious entity. So we have to talk to any government, far right or left or whoever is there, we have to talk to them and we have to play with their cards. At the moment they see that we're not united, they will use that against us. And last year they, for example, recognize the Baha'i faith, who, all my respect for them, I had a lot of friends who are Baha'is. They were founded in the 19th century, and in Spain there are only 5,000 followers, if you compare it to the history of Hinduism. No? But they are united. They have some common ground, And the problem with Sanatan Dharma, and what I consider sometimes as kind of immaturity, is because my guru is the best, and and Shaiva, I cannot go with Vaishnava. So, we follow this or we don't do that. We don't want to appear in the same picture with this particular person. So it's really sad for me because, of course, you have to follow your guru, respect your guru, your tradition, your organization. But when we are together to obtain something beneficial for all Hinduism, like, for example, taxes, deduction of taxes. In Spain, all the religious movement, they don't pay taxes for their temples, mosques, synagogue, whatever. When I marry somebody, they have to go to the court. But in an imam or a rabbi, they marry somebody, they will give a certificate, they will automatically be registered in the court. So many things.
Yeah.
right to have a teachers. If there's certain amount of students, you can have your own teacher paid by the government. So of course, Hindus, we are a small population in comparison to other religions, but at least we should have the right to learn what they are saying in the book text about Sanatana Dharma. So many topics, so many derogatory, things that we have millions of gods, we worship cows, things like that. No?
Yeah.
So we have that right. So this is the thing, that we have to be all together. You keep your independence. The Hindu Federation of Spain don't interfere in any particular tradition. We don't tell them you have to worship like this, you have to do like this.
Right.
We just only their representative. Sometimes we have problems. Like, for example, there was one couple near Madrid where they sent their sons to the school and they asked for a vegetarian menu. So the school teachers say, no, we have halal for Muslims and we have the meat. And if you bring a doctor certificate that your son have to be vegetarian. So be vegetarian is not a disease. Why you have to bring a doctor certificate? So we helping them, no? See, it's a religious belief that we are vegetarians, so they can eat in the school. Or there is also some case when they make derogatory remarks about Hinduism in the television and everything. Mm-hmm. We try to defend. Like we have a famous festival in Spain, in Valencia, called the Fallas, where they burn images of different, no? So once they make an image of Ganesh, one for Shiva Nataraj and Saraswati, and they wanted to burn. So we complain, no? So this is our deities, our gods. In India, we don't burn Jesus Christ or the Mother Mary, Right. So, and finally, they agreed in one sense. They say, okay, so we'll take from Ganesh the parachute, the axe, and this, and we'll remove all the symbols, and finally we'll burn an elephant. So it was not bad. But so many things that is coming. Also, we have a lot of marriage fraud in Spain, in the sense that people go to India, they get married, they don't register the marriage in Spain, and then after some communities, they take the dowry, like the bride side, they pay them some money, and then since they never register marriage, then they throw away, and the bride means the lady, the girl, is alone and unprotected. And the government of Spain say, okay, we want to help you, but give us some proof that you are married.
Correct, yeah.
No? So all these things can be avoided if we get the official recognition. And we are working towards that, and also doing a lot of interfaith, because in Spain, there are 3 councils who will give you the notorio arraigo, that means the certificate. One is the academic, so academic is in our favor. They wrote a very nice paper, like saying that Hinduism should receive the recognition. Then the second one is those who already have the recognition have to vote in our favor.
The established religions, they vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, sometimes it's difficult because, the cake is the same. So they don't want to share their piece, of, grants from the government and things like that. So it was interesting that before the Baha'i, the last religion who was recognized was the Buddhism. And there were like 10 organizations who have a right to vote, and they obtained like 6 or 7. It means 4 or 5 were against them. So only for very little they took. So also we are canvassing with them. We are trying to
that vote was for the Buddhists or the Baha'i?
From the Buddhists.
So even the Buddhists had so many antagonists.
Yeah, antagonists, yes.
Difficult.
Yes. And then is the government also. The government give you some list that you have to, some criteria that you have to fulfill. And they're making it bigger and bigger and more difficult. So now what they ask from us is, you have to be in Spain for more than 100 years. Okay, so we fulfill the criteria.
Yes.
Okay, you have to be in more than 10 different community regions. Okay, we are in 13, so we commit that. And then the big problem is that you have to have in the federation 100 associations. So what is the problem? Most of the Hindu organizations in Spain are registered as a cultural organization, not a religious one. So if you are not religious, the government don't recognize you. We have like in Tenerife, Canary Island, we have a community of 7,000 Hindus who are Indian origin. And the temple, everything, they don't have registered anything. It's registered like a community neighbor or something like that.
Right.
So for the government, they say, you don't insist. So one of my services is to convince the people, please, change from a cultural entity to a religious one. Or you keep it the cultural one because you give some benefit or whatever from the government, but create another one, a religious one. It's very easy. You just have to, for people who sign for you, and we give you the copy of the statute. So when I approach the Western Hindus or European Hindus, some of them will say, okay, we'll join. We want to be together. Some of them, they will say, I have to consult my guru in India. And usually they say no. Some people who follow Sanatana Dharma, they have Hindu names, they have sannyasis, they chant mantras, they say, we are no Hindus. It's quite funny. I don't want to mention, but there are 3-4 groups like that.
I know them.
So this is one problem with them. And then with the Indian people, some of them are, in Spain, we have like 2nd, 3rd, and 4th generation born in Spain. Okay, so they have a good life in the sense, they have their business, so they don't care much. When you explain, we need all the rights, say, well, what do I need? I'm happy with what we have. Only when they have problem, they will call me. Okay, so we have this problem, how we can avoid the taxes and everything. Okay, Phil, first you need the recognition. Other people, I approach them and they only want the benefits. Say, okay, so if I join, I can have a visa, bring my family from India, or I can bring somebody, I can do this, I cannot do. So I say, okay, first get the recognition, then you will get the benefit. You're asking for the benefit before, you want to eat before you cook the meal, no? So it is like that. And it's also really unfortunate when some groups who are 99.99% Hindus, they don't want to join, and they don't consider themselves Sanatanis, Yeah.
I think it's really a shame. What you're describing is really, for me, a mistaken prioritization of issues. I understand the difference between schools and sampradayas and different things, and that for sure, at some point, people want to keep the boundaries still there. We want to protect the Sangha, we want to keep things a little bit separated, but that's an in-house minor detail, in my opinion. The bigger picture, it's almost like people are arguing about the color of the carpet in the house, but there's a hole in the ceiling and it's just raining inside the house, right? We don't have basic rights. You don't have a basic acknowledgement from the government. Smaller religions, like you just said, the Baha'i, even the Buddhists are smaller, they are getting accepted.
Yeah.
And then they have a say on whether we get in or not. And in the meanwhile, why we're not? Why? Because you said lack of unity.
Yeah,
and people need to hear about this more and more. People need to be woken up a little bit because this is a crazy situation. It cannot be that we remain so divided and getting the priorities all wrong in these situations. It's the same in other countries. It's very similar.
Yeah, and it also happened that some groups who, whenever they want, they say we are Hindus, or they say within the temple they say the Hindus, and when they need something they say we are Hindus. Also trying to put obstacles in the path, because some particular one group in Spain that they want to impose their views. So we have our statutes, our rules is doesn't matter how many branches you have. If you are one organization, you have one vote. Okay, it's not that you have 7 temples. We are going to give you 7 votes because otherwise it will be that organization federation.
Right.
We have to respect all the traditions who wants to join. So they were saying, okay, so let's create another federation. And this already happened in Italy. It's the Unione Hinduista Italiana, who was founded and recognized by the government. And they get even the revenue from the tax income and everything. So a particular group who doesn't agree, who is the same group that we have in Spain, they say, okay, we'll create another federation, but it's not recognized. So in our case, the government officials telling me, see, we have 3,000 Protestant communities and they have one federation. We have 2,000 Muslim organizations that have one Islamic commission. You are register only 24 Hindus organizations. Why you want to create 2 federations? For us, it doesn't look serious, you know.
Yeah.
Because if we give you so many benefits, you will misuse that. So even when they do sometimes, studies of the religion, everything, they put Catholic, Protestant, Jewish, and then they put others. So we are others, you know, and it's really sad. So as sometimes say, no, I belong to several international interfaith organizations like ICIT, who have the headquarters in Lisbon, and we have Transcendence in Spain, and APCER, Universidad de Coimbra. I'm also a member of that. And I can sit in a table, and we can discover in a topic with some different views, like Abrahamic religions, and even Buddhists is finally Nastika, they are atheists. No? Yeah. So we can have some agreement, because there is a religious study, very interesting, say that all religions have in common 63%. Our difference is only 37%. So we concentrate more in our difference. So I don't like syncretism. I don't believe in syncretism. I don't believe in one religion. If Krishna allows to have so many paths, so anybody can take the ticket, slow one, a longer one, he gives us the free will. So the thing is, sometimes we can have an agreement, because nowadays people, when they think about religion, they think about, bad things that happen for religion, the wars, so many things. Even my father, he suffered himself the partition of India and Pakistan, because he was born in Hyderabad, Sindh, British India. But then, since he was Hindu, he had to shift to the nowadays India. And he was at that time 9 years old. And he told me that one neighbor who was a Muslim, and they was like brothers, and they came to the house and said, see, let's go, because tomorrow they're going to burn your house. So they have to leave. So you can see how religion can divide a country, can destroy life. So religion, my view is, there's 2 sides of the same coin, or 2 ways. One is spiritual individual growing, and then what religion can give to the society. What we can give to the people can improve their way of life. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we have to cooperate. Like I wrote a book, I compiled a book, and I was the editor of a book called Nature and Spirituality. So we collected the views of 8 different religions about taking care of Mother Earth, what the Quran says, what the Torah says, what the Bhagavad Gita says. So because we are living in the same planets and the same village, like God. So in this thing, people are ready to cooperate. Then we have, of course, theological differences that we never agree.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, of course.
So you respect my difference, I respect yours. Let's work together. So the same approach is really difficult in Sanatana Dharma. At least in my view, in Europe. Okay.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's quite difficult. Even now, when we want to, every year we have new members who wants to join. So some of those who are already inside, they don't want them to come. So what is the problem with that? No, I don't like the guru. Or the person is very controversial. Or they say something like that. Okay, so let them be. They're not forcing you to believe in that, no? This is, I think, the magnanimity of Sanatana Dharma, that we have different paths, and everybody have the right to be in the one that they feel happy.
It's also not the role of a federation to dictate the beliefs of the individual members, but rather to acknowledge that there is some common ground, and if that's true, then let us stand together stronger than we would if we were separate. You mentioned Europe. I think there is a contributing factor of the inherent culture of Europe as well, and the history of Europe in this, because in the United States, for example, I've experienced a little bit, I've spoken to some of the representatives there of sort of Hindu associations that try to unite, very similar work. And I feel like there's less difficulty there than I have experienced in Europe. And I think it's because, Sanatanis, we bring a certain mentality to the table, but it is also fed by the sort of cultural identity that the persons have. American cultural identity is different to European cultural identity.
27 different mentalities.
That's it, exactly that. Europe is so fragmented in a sense by language and borders and history and everything else that's happened there. I feel like that plays a role as well in the European psyche when it comes to solving this problem. It's, now I want to go back to this intra-religious situation. I feel like when it comes to our ability to meet in the middle with each other, it feels like it's going to take very objective conversations that we need to have openly to solve this exact problem. And I think more and more, these conversations exposing the situation, again, not with ill intent, not with the intent to point fingers or whatever, but just to expose, guys, there is a problem here.
Yeah.
Every other religion is very united in comparison to ours, okay? Therefore, they get all sorts of benefits and strength and whatever else. Do you think that the Christians agree that Catholics, Orthodox, etc. are all on the same page? They're not. They're clearly not on the same page theologically, as you said. And yet, Christianity has all the rights in the world. It has all the status that it needs. It has every ability to prosper in its various different forms. We need to just become very clear about the situation. We come together for the benefit of the whole. It doesn't mean for the convergence of everything, for the blurring of the lines. As you said, theologically, we don't have to agree with each other. You don't have to like each other's gurus. You don't have to like all of this. You have to recognize that we're on the same boat.
Yes.
And if that is not recognized, there's very little hope for something to really come from all of this. I believe it can be fixed.
Yeah.
I do believe. And it starts with the work that you're doing. It starts with the dialogue that has to be had openly about this. And I understand your position. I would have the same about not naming names. I think it's not the right way to do it. But if there are communities that are 99.9% Hindu, but when it comes time to join hands and help others, they'll say no.
No.
In my opinion, there are fundamental Hindu ideas there that have not ever been really followed then. The idea of the spirit of one family, the spirit of brotherhood, the spirit of humility, as you said. A lot of humility and grace that we have to give to each other. Yeah, I just wanted to make this point. I think we have to really start to wake up from this delusion. We really have a hole in the roof.
Yeah, and we have the saying of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, no? But we give in the interfaith, but we don't give, we don't say to each
lovely
other.
Words, lovely words.
Loka samasta sukino babantu,
Lovely words with very little meaning, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's sad because even we, like 2 years ago, yes, it was in 2023, we went a delegation of Hindu Forum of Europe to officially visit the Vatican. Okay, it was organized the first European encounter of Christianity and Hinduism. So they brought Catholic, but also Protestant people. We were there also, members from different sampradayas, Indians or Caucasians also, whatever. And sometimes I admire how the Vatican manage things, no? In the sense, they're so professional because all the priests who came to talk with us, they were Indians converted to Catholicism. So, they know, they grow up, they're born in India, even the bishop and everything was from Sri Lanka, and the other one was from Varanasi, So, and they told us, see, we want to approach Sanatan Dharma, but we don't know to whom we have to talk. Because they say, see, we don't believe in the caste system.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk with those who don't. We believe, okay, you believe in Varnashram according to quality and guna, karma and guna, quality and work and service. But we don't want to talk with those who discriminate the people, So it was really nice. And then we were with the Cardinal Ayuso, who was a friend of me, and then the Pope. We took a picture with the Pope, and it's quite funny. Again, I don't want to mention anybody, but those who don't recognize themselves as Hindus, they were pushing each other to be in the picture with the Pope. So if you are not Hindu, what are you doing with the Hindu group and taking the picture with the Pope? No, and you can see the picture. You will get to know who was that.
Yeah. It's okay. So I think it's interfaith stuff, because I've done some work there, and I would love to hear your experiences, because I always find, this is my experience, I've always found that when we have these interfaith dialogues, the thing that's always unsaid, unspoken, is what are we really here for? What is the intention of this meeting? Mm-hmm. Because I often feel people come with different intentions. The advertised intention is often peace between religions, harmony between religions. it was not always my experience that everybody came there with that intention. A lot of the times people came to compare and contrast and to show supremacy, to show, oh, but here we have something better. Here we have this, here we have that. There were some people who would be very smart in their presentation of their religion. They would present the best parts, of course, and hoping that there would not be knowledge of the worst parts in the room that could question it. So one of the things that I did in my work there, because my Gurudev, he sent me to do a lot of this. So for some years, I was dialoguing in Frankfurt here in Germany with Christians, Muslims, Scientologists, Buddhists, other Hindus. There was a lot of different faiths there. One of the things I started doing at some point was I would kick off the conversation by setting some common agreement on the table. And so I would say, are we, first of all here gathered with the desire for coexistence? The second question is there anybody here that looks at any other representative of other religion here and thinks that this religion should not exist? Because if you can't make those commitments easily, within seconds, why are we even really here talking to each other? I mean, you might just be the wrong person. Not that your religion is wrong, but you might be the wrong person to represent in this forum, in this kind of intention. Now, I don't want to generalize, but I will be honest. I was there for 2 years. I attended maybe 20 conferences. In that time, I dealt with 2 Christian representatives. So there was a swap at one point midway. The same Scientologists, the same Buddhists, the same Sikh representative, and 8 different Islamic representatives.
8.
Because each one would eventually come to 1 or 2 sessions and say, I don't want to come back anymore. Because very often those questions would expose some form of, no, I don't recognize your religion. No, I don't accept this, that, and the other. That isn't to say that we didn't have ones that said, no, I do, and I want to resolve whatever conflict is there, and I want to find a common middle ground. There were those also, and I have to be honest about that too. So I'm very curious what your experiences are, how you approach this kind of interreligious dialogue, and how has been your history with that?
Yeah, my experience is the first time I went to interreligious session was when I was 29. That means more than 25 years ago. And then, of course, we always go and say nice words, and we are brothers, and we click a picture, and again in the newspaper, when Hindu, when Jewish, all together. And one of the reactions in the first meetings is that Muslim and Jewish, they were criticizing us, and I hear that their whisper, they say, oh, they're idolatries, they worship so many gods and everything. Haram, it's the same.
Yes.
Okay. Then when the Jewish was with me, he was criticizing the Muslim, these people. And the Christian also had the view, see, we coming all from the same branch, Abraham, but you Hindus are from some other alternative universe, So I saw that because it was in a kind of amateur level. Yeah. Then I joined some Interfaith organization who do a training for you to become a so-called expert in interreligious dialogue. And they put a lot of emphasis in dialogue. We're not coming here to debate. We're coming here to dialogue. What we have in common, what we have different things, and what we can do for humanity. Okay, and how we can coexist. Of course, then you see in the personal level the maturity of those who, we have to work together, we have to protect each other, the day you will have some problem, we'll try to help, the day you will have some problem. Yeah. This is the thing. And of course, there are some people even that they publicly say in one of those meetings, I remember it was in Vienna, in Austria, and he say, I will pray for all of you that you can go to heaven, because only us can go to heaven. So I will pray you, maybe you have a chance to go there.
I've met those situations, yeah.
Yes, but it's quite interesting because it's also a chance for us to present our philosophy, our view of the world, that even Sanatana Dharma, in one sense, also influence other traditions, in one sense. Of course, they're not going to recognize that. But yes, one have to be very careful. And so many times you have to see, this is my personal opinion, and this is my opinion as the representative of that religion, But there's so many matters that are untouchable. Yeah, sometimes when I propose dialogues, okay, let's talk about homosexuality, same-sex marriage, and everything, it's taboo. You know, for them, say, no, you remove this from the
Agenda.
non-violence. We're going to talk to non-violence and things like that. But yes, it's a path. It's a path, and it's quite interesting to learn about other religions. Even I know Hindu groups that they say we go to the Interfaith to try to convert them, So we learn and you try to convert them. So this is the truth. So I say, no, I go there to learn from them. I'm not trying to find their weak points, So no, I'll try to learn. Maybe I have some insights, something good for me that I can use in my life, or I can use when we share the Sanatana Dharma, This is the thing, yeah.
Is that the real value that you see from the interfaith dialogues? Learning?
Yeah. For me, it was good in one sense that they met a lot of people, that they open you a lot of doors.
Right.
For example, we have one friend, he was also in the same course, and then he invited me to Italy, to the University of Parma, so I give a lecture and 2 lectures over there. And then I went to different countries, and it's good. It's a good opportunity that you can go and you present, this is Sanatana Dharma, this is what we do, how we worship, how we pray. And if you see in the history, we have a long tradition of interfaith. Even you see in the times of Buddha and with Hinduism, and then we have the Sikh and on tradition medieval India of sadhus and gurus trying to entangle Muslim in dialogue. And if you see, Sanatana Dharma is a religion, a way of life, who allows all other religions to coexist. And you can see in India, when they destroyed the temple of Solomon in Jerusalem, they went to India. All this community of Jewish outside Israel was founded in Kerala, in Cochin. Then when they expelled the Zoroastrian, the Parsis from Persia, India they give shelter to them. And so you can see in India, you can see Zoroastrians and Muslim, Jewish, Sikh, whoever, because Sanatana Dharma gives a space to them. Otherwise,
absolutely.
You see in India, 83% of the population are Hindus, no? But why there are 200 million Muslims or 50 million Christians? Because Sanatana Dharma say, okay, this is the way. You also have the right to exist and a place to stay, and in open a lot of doors. Also, you have to be consistent, and also you have to set your own goals.
Yeah.
Because if you see, I'm coming here and everything is pink color, and everybody love us, it's not like that. But it's nice at the time when you share even the food, you see the Jews with the kosher and the Muslim halal. We had the shakahari, vegetarian food. It's also a nice way to interact with some people that otherwise you will not see it. I'm used to that because I was born and I grew up in Ceuta. Ceuta is a small city of Spain in the north of Africa. So we have a huge Christian population, huge Muslim population. We have a small Hindu community. We have a Jewish community. So we grew up in that environment. But for other people who never went abroad and never have the chance to meet people from other religion, it's a very good experience.
No, 100% it's true. I mean, Guruji, I remember he always talked about his youth growing up in Mauritius. And in Mauritius, there were Hindu community, Muslim community, Christian community, all on the same street. You have a temple, mosque, temple, a church, all on the same street. And so it was a very different experience for him when he came out of Mauritius and saw how other countries and other cultures sometimes lack that coexistence and that ability to really give space. And Sanatana Dharma is really, I would say, the best at that in a sense, really gives the space for that. There were 2 things you said, I think, earlier about your own journey. One was maturity, and the other one was open-mindedness, that there was an open-minded guru, open-minded, I would say, mentality in general. What does that mean to you, to have an open-minded vision of your own spiritual and Hindu path?
The open mind and also to keep the balance.
Right, because
this is very important, the balance. One of my guru used to say the spiritual life is 99.99% common sense. So we have to use the common sense. Sometimes we are too much in emotions. The maturity is like, first of all, every jiva, every soul has the freedom given by Lord Krishna himself, by Sriman Narayana, to follow your path, okay? And let them make mistakes, because we are, for countless life, how many paths we took. And that free will let the people experience by themselves. And what happened in Sanatan Dharma, there is no apostasy. Okay, if you are not happy being a Vaishnava, you become a Shaiva, or you become a Shakta, or you believe in whoever you believe. Nobody is going to prosecute them. It's funny, at the same time, what happened to me, changing from Gaudiya Vaishnavism to Sri Vaishnavism, from one day to another, was completely outcast after so many years of doing service from that particular organization, and they call me traitor and everything. So I used to make fun with one of my friends from that particular group, even Guru Bhais also, and they told me they will be more happy if you become drunk or you start taking drugs, something, or even you become Muslim, or they will be more happy. But changing from one Vaishnava tradition to another for them is a great sin. And this is a reality. I know also happened with some Bhakti Marga members who were previously in other organizations.
Yeah. I think it's a fear. It's a fear because by you moving to something else, in this case, Sri Vaishnavism, it's almost like a glorification of an alternative. And for them, it's like, oh, wait a minute, you're paving a path that it's possible to move to something similar, but in your view, better fitting. If you go to being a drunkard, that's not a path that convinces anybody that that's better. They go, oh, look, he fell. So falling is okay, but shifting to something that for you feels even more aligned with who you are and what you believe, that is in the same playing field, Vaishnavism, is scary for a lot of organizations when they are insecure.
Yeah.
When they're insecure. If you have no insecurity, if you're comfortable, what does it matter if somebody moves from one to the other?
And also my maturity, I will say that I have respect of all the sadhus.
Yes.
All the holy persons. And I can see that they are doing the good in their own way. Nowadays there are so many gurus who become like part of the media. They are in social net and everything. And what some people start criticizing and say, okay, but at least they're doing something good. They're not telling the people to do something wrong. And we have the technology, the Vairagya Vidya, renunciation with knowledge. We have the Vairagya Vidya to reach much more people. I'm also totally against or ultra-Orthodox people, or, don't want to go outside of India. They don't allow. They don't allow Western people. No, this is totally. I was once in a sabha, in a sadhu sabha in India, and one of the gurus, one of the Mahamandaleshwar, said the future of Hinduism is in the West, and everybody was shocked. Of course, they said that they're Indians who are born in the West. Right. But at least he gives the credit. That we have a good role to lead, also the way. In a humble way, to lead, to take that role. Have a lot of respect. I can learn from so many gurus. Okay, one, you have the one who give you the diksha, the initiation. You can serve only one guru, but you can learn from so many gurus. And you see in the Bhagavad Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam, it mentions 32 different kind of gurus. That you can learn from all of them. And like coming here, for example, being in Shree Peetha Nilaya also, I consider myself like a well-wisher of Bhakti Marga. And some people ask me, I'm not disciple of Guruji, I'm not disciple of Paramahansa Vishwananda. We have a very respectful relationship between both of us. I am a well-wisher of Bhakti Marga. They're doing an excellent job, excellent work. And I can see visiting so many ashrams in Europe, because in India is a different situation. That you can see the bhakti, you can see the happiness, you can see the relaxation, the sense you are not in a military quarter. Discipline should be there, because disciple means discipline. Yeah. But at the same time, the respect, the camaraderie between the peers, the people who all together in the same path. So this inspired me, and some others see it's a threat. Oh,
Yes.
now they're becoming popular. They are growing in the West. Oh, they're going to. It's like we are fighting. Like we need clients, no?
Like you said, the cake, and everybody wants their
Yeah,
slice.
everybody wants their piece, and it's not like that. There's countless souls that need to be preached, and then we give the knowledge, and whoever will take it.
And also, let's be realistic here. The fastest growing, let's say, threat is materialism. It's Maya. It always is lurking around the corner. And so in some sense, if a person chooses to follow a path that is not the path of Maya, is still worship of God, maybe with a different mantra, different sampradaya, I'm at the very least happy for that soul that they have found something that is far more productive than the actual bigger, let's say, tempting threats in the world today. And I really appreciate how you view things and your perspective on this. I think, as you said, a lot of appreciation has to be there for all these movements that are around. I have a great respect for a lot of the Vaishnava movements, the non-Vaishnava movements within Sanatana Dharma for the work they are doing. If you ask someone, if I get asked, sit down and name me all the amazing things that they're doing, I can give you a long list. It's not difficult to find amazing things that they're doing. Now, if you ask me, find something that you don't like, I can also do it. But actually, much less. One or two things I may not like from this organization or that organization compared to 100 things that they're doing so nicely. I think that has to impact our thinking.
And, it's like, you can see also, like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita in the 4th chapter, when he's talking about Raja Vidya, he said that the king of knowledge, and it should be practiced with uksaha, means with enthusiasm, and with susukam, with happiness.
Yes.
Sometimes you see the people that they are like long face and they are completely sad. They say, which path are you doing? Which practicing you are doing? You are just doing sadhana mechanically.
Yes.
But having the ras, the test of serving God, and also what I consider, I call the 4S, you need the sharanagati, surrender. You need swadhyaya, you have to study what you're practicing, is very important. Sadhana, your personal practice, and seva. Okay, so this is a way of cleaning yourself, the seva, and this is very important that you are very active. Doesn't matter you live in the temple, you are a brahmachari, you are a sannyasi, everybody chooses the path. The important is the sincerity.
Yes.
That
could be a fifth S right there, sincerity.
The sincerity, yes, I forgot that. Thank you for pointing out. Yes, that we should be sincere in the platform. So some groups, they easily give and take sannyas because it's a position of prestige.
Yes.
So if I am sannyasi, I don't have to wait in the line. I will have the prasad, the first one. I travel in business class. All these things. So it's not like that, and maybe a grihasta can do much more service. So the important is that you use surrender. And of course, Guru Nishta, you have to obey the order of the Guru. I can say you can hear from many Gurus, but finally you have to follow only one, okay? And be respectful to the other one, and also really impressed and really happy. I visited yesterday the Museum of the Relics. And I found with all the paths and tradition that you can imagine in Sanatana Dharma. And even I saw the picture and relics of some of the gurus that their disciples are criticizing the most. They're criticizing Bhakti Marga. Still, you keep the picture and the relic. So this is was really wonderful, and it touched my heart. This we should cooperate among each other.
I agree. Well, I've always been very proud of Guruji in that sense because he walks the talk. He says these things about Vasudeva Kutumbakam. He talks about us being a family that we need to unite irrespective of differences. And then he says it, look, he'll go out of his way to collect these relics, to ask for this, because I want to glorify your path. I want to give respect to yours. And then you come here and you go to our Hindu museum and you will see, as you said, from every imaginable tradition within Sanatana Dharma, you will see a picture, the name, the item described, and sometimes even a little story or something, and it's really about showing what we're talking about, saying, look, this is really a place where we honor the various traditions and paths. And yeah, we may have our differences, but we have to prioritize what's more important.
Yeah.
And there is so much ignorance. I mean, look, I sometimes say to people, we're here in Germany, you know how many Vaishnavas there are in Germany? Not many. If you look compared to the population, Germany is not a thriving Vaishnava country, right? And so with so few people, the only thing that we should be doing is trying to collaborate together to see how we can advance our position. So I really appreciate the work you're doing. I really do.
You.
There is something you said that I need to catch. Two things, actually. First is, you said 99.999% common sense.
Yes.
I'm curious what the other 0.001%.
0%, maybe this is more transcendental, but we have to use common sense in this. And also, very important, what the gurus teach us as Kala Patrandesha. No? Kala, the time, Patra, the message, and Desha, the place. You cannot behave in the same way if you are in India or you are in the West, because Sanatana Dharma finally is a way of life. So sometimes, for example, myself, I wear a dhoti and, the utari and everything if I have to represent Hinduism in a particular, or if I'm going to officiate a ceremony. But sometimes I will wear with a shirt and, if I have to talk to official, I have to make the approach. I will always wear something like Om symbol, something that, see, I'm Hindu,
Yeah.
But they feel comfortable. Because when they see you coming with the tilak and everything, they become kind of scared. Say, what? And I don't know here in the West, but in Spain, when you talk about the cult, always come the Hindu imagery. Even sometimes in the news when they say, that particular group who were Christians and they believe in a prophet or something, and they put images of Hindus.
Yes.
Yes. So 100%. We also have to work against that. No, it's not the clothes that we wear.
Of course, some intelligence.
Intelligence have to be there. We have to play with the cards. Like sometimes when the people have, you have to take care of your health also. So we grew up being taught that you have to be detached, that we are Brahmashmi, you are not material body, things like that. No, then you say, I have pain in my stomach. Okay, you're not meditating. You are not doing your sadhana properly. This is the reaction of your sins. No, so we have to use the common sense. Maybe this is true. I'm not saying it's not true, but you have to use your common sense. It is very important. And I went in a Tirtha Yatra, I remember, in India, and they say, oh, this is a very important lake. Srimati Radharani was here with Krishna. You see the water is green and dirty, and the people start drinking the water. I say, okay, it was pure maybe 5,000 years ago. So I just sprinkle in my head, but not going to drink. Then somebody drank, and the next day they have disease. They were having stomachal problems. So this is what I call common sense.
Yeah.
For example, let's say, if you say, okay, I'm a preacher, I want to preach the Sanatana Dharma, I'm going to Afghanistan, you will be killed maybe in the airport. So if you are doing that, you don't have common sense.
Yeah.
So we have to apply. And when we say Vairagya Vidya, no? Vidya means with knowledge. You renounce to few things, but don't do it. Even the Vaishnava tradition, we don't have naked Babas, naked Naga Babus, Babas, we don't have it. Because we don't believe in mortification of the body. Okay, you can do the tapasya austerity in some other way. We believe the body is the temple of the soul, So we have to take care of the health and the mental health. Sometimes some people, even they come to Sanatana Dharma because they were or they feel rejected from other previous religions. So also we have to welcome everybody, embrace everybody, but also we have to deal with the mental issues because maybe, your place is not in a temple, not in an ashram. Maybe you need some professional health,
Absolutely.
I travel so many ashrams and from so many organizations. There always a crazy guy, that you see this guy need some professional health.
That's one thing we all have in common as well. Every Hindu organization, there's always one or two people who are not fully there.
Yeah, they are there, but
running to spirituality for their solution, and the answer could lie there also, but with some common sense elsewhere also. Yeah,
this is very important use the common sense at the time of even serving. No, like the gurus give the examples. No, like Guruji was today telling the story in the class about that somebody he say, I need help, that somebody help me to clean the kitchen, and somebody start cleaning very nicely the toilet.
Yeah.
No, but this is not what I want. No, and if the guru say, give me a glass of water, and you will think, oh, why water? I give you milk. No, but I ask for water. So this is what we have to use is the common sense. Sometimes we try to imitate. We should follow the Mahatmas, the Mahajans, but we don't should imitate them because we are not in that level.
Not the same consciousness.
We are living in different continents. We are living in different ages. And I think if we want that the people, the general public, took us seriously, we have to adjust to the circumstances. Not compromising the rules
of course.
And the
within
philosophy,
reason.
But you
flexibility.
Flexibility. Finally, what is yoga? Yoga is flexibility of the mind, not of the body. From the body, it already comes. No?
Yeah.
And also from the Hindu Federation, also we work against the banalization of yoga. No, how it became now. No, it's a sacred, one of the sad darshanas, as a sacred way of reaching God, because yoga finally, what is samadhi? No, if you study the Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali, you were mentioning today in your class, finally is reach samadhi. What is samadhi? Is union with the God. You call him whatever name you want to call. So now everybody is just doing asana, little pranayama. They invent something, kind of meditation. Now, mindfulness is a 5,000 years old meditation. They pack in something new. Like they say, old wine in new bottles. No? Mm-hmm. So that mindfulness, and now they say holotropic kind of breathing is for the pranayama that we are using for thousands of years. So it's also the banalization and the mockery that they're making of yoga. And also we have a responsibility of that.
Agreed.
To show, there is a different path of yoga. You need a healthy body, you do asana, but don't forget that this is only a step. And most important is dhyana, the meditation. We need the meditation. We prepare the body, we prepare the mind through the breathing exercise, the asanas, we do the pratyahara, interiorization, But finally, dhyana and samadhi is the goal of yoga. Otherwise, you're doing decaf things like that, no?
Yes, no, I do agree. I do agree.
Yeah.
You mentioned happiness, that Susukam, right? This idea that this should be a happy path. As an inspiration for the listeners, as we start to wrap up, what brings you the most happiness in your spiritual path?
In my spiritual path, happiness, of course, deity worship. I'm very attracted to deity worship. Kirtan. Whenever I'm in Kirtan, I cry out of love and humility. And always try to think that we are tools in God's hands. Okay, whatever, how much knowledge we have, how much experience we have, how much elevated or how much power we have within an organization, in a family, in a community. We have to think like, material life is like a wave. We are in the top, then we go down. So this is happiness. And when you see also that others are making progress, and they're growing as person, they're growing as communities, they're growing as society, they bring me happiness. And my goal, I hope that one day we'll get the recognition from the Spanish government. I would like to see more unity and the diversity of Sanatana Dharma, more respect, more appreciation what others are doing, and of course we can get inspiration from so many other people, from gurus, from teachings, from organization, how they do things, and we try, even we're not going to imitate, but at least let's follow the path.
Inspired.
And and you can be humble. It doesn't mean that you will be less because you are following some particular approach. This is what brings me happiness and also peace of mind. We are talking, people nowadays, they talk world peace, universal peace, but what about peace of mind? If I'm not in peace with myself, how can I give peace to others? So finally, all the sadhana that we do is to give peace to our mind and our soul, so we can influence somebody to be more peaceful. And of course, being peaceful doesn't mean that we have to swallow everything that they throw at us. Okay, like Bhagavad Gita was spoken in a battlefield,
Right.
And
Right.
Krishna told Arjuna, arise, and fight. You do dharma. So we have to be, of course, respectful, peaceful, but at the same time, if they attack us verbally or in any way derogatory remarks, we have to answer to that. And the best example we can give to the society is, of course, also our own behavior. Because, unfortunately, so many cases and so different groups, cases of things that are not supposed to happen in religious institutions.
Yeah.
Okay, so we also have to be an example, because so many people lost faith when they saw their leaders. They're preaching something and behaving in a different way.
Right.
Well, this is...
I appreciate your answer. I think especially what you said, to be happy for the success of others. This is a very inspirational thing.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the things that we should all aim to take away from what you just shared. It's a sign of maturity, sign of understanding, when you can really be happy for someone else's success.
Yeah,
too many people trying to compete with each other, and uplifting is a secondary thought. So Krishna Kripa Dasa, I'm very grateful for the conversation. Thank you very much for all that you're doing. I wish you all the success, in our future collaborations as well, and we can work together to uplift Hindus and Sanatana Dharma all over Europe, in Spain, in Germany, everywhere where we are.
Everywhere, yes. And I'm really happy and very grateful to you and all the Bhakti Marga Sangha for the good hospitality you show. And I can see I can measure the magnanimity of the Guru and how the disciples behave so nicely. And this is very, just to end my conversation with you, is there are all kind of rituals to, even you do Gohatya, you kill a cow, you can do a ritual to obtain the prayaschita, the atonement.
Atonement, yeah.
Okay, we say in Spanish, expiación. Okay. Brahman Hatya, you kill a Brahman, there is also. Even Atma Hatya means suicide also. But there is no ritual in Sanatana Dharma for Krita Bhaga. Krita Bhaga means being ungrateful. Krita means grace, grateful. Bhaga means the one who ran away from. So if you are Krita Bhaga, there is no way you can attain the atonement. So we have to be very grateful to the Lord that He gave us this human body, to our gurus, our purvacharyas, that we have a sangha, and we have to be grateful even from the day one we open the eyes till we go to sleep. We have to be very grateful.
Beautiful message, gratitude. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev, Jai Sriman Narayana.